sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Early in the morning, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises, early in the morning. Put him in the longboat until he's sober, put him in the longboat until he's sober, put him in the longboat until he's sober, early in the morning. Way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises, early in the morning. Pull out the plug and wet him all over, pull out the plug and wet him all over, pull out the plug and wet him all over, early in the morning. Way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises, early in the morning. What shall we do with the drunk?
Well, hello once again, my friends, my fellow historians, and my fellow modelers. I'd like to welcome you to another video, and this video is going to be pretty cool. I want to show you guys the largest model ship in the world. Me and my family and I had gone to the New Bedford Whaling Museum a few years back, New Bedford, Massachusetts, and I was looking over some of the pictures in the video, and I thought that you guys might like to see this model ship. It's a half scale, and it's huge. And I figured that I would make a video of this. This is again from the New Bedford Whaling Museum. I have a bunch of things to show you from there, but I want to start with this awesome model. The LAGODA, the New Bedford Whaling Museum's half-scale model of the whaling bark, built inside the Bourne Building in 1915 through 1916 with funds donated by Emily Bourne in memory of her father, whaling merchant Jonathan Bourne Jr. LAGODA is the largest ship model in existence. And at the time when we had gone, they were actually restoring the model. The model of the LAGODA is a half-scale model that was meant to commemorate the business of whaling as conducted by whaling merchant Jonathan Bourne of New Bedford, a very famous whaling merchant, very famous and successful ship. On board a whaling voyage would be maybe 30 guys who would be recruited or who would volunteer to go on a whaling voyage. They carried things like sea chests, and they carried things like navigational equipment, and they were experienced whalesmen. A great deal of skill goes into any kind of seafaring, and whaling in particular. Not only did whalemen need to know how to find, hunt, and kill whales, but they also needed the skills of sailors, which included navigation. And so, for instance, with the model, there are several navigation instruments, including a couple of octants, one of which was carried by a whaler master named George O. Baker, who was a veteran of 11 voyages. They would ship on board a vessel that was outfitted for 4 years, voyage and would navigate the oceans of the world looking for sperm whales, looking for the right whales or bowhead whales in order to capture the animals, process the animals into cargo that had value, namely oil, spermacti from the sperm whale, and baleen from bowhead whales and right whales. All of these products had market value, but the system by which the men were paid on shipboard depended upon how much oil and bone they actually returned. So a whaleman was paid on the lay system. So if you were a skilled craftsman like a cooper, you might get 1/50th lay, which meant out of every 50 barrels you earn a value of 1. So if you were a captain and you got the 1/12th lay, your pay was much higher. If you were a green hand and inexperienced and you got the 1/200th lay, the value of your voyage would be much lower. Again, this is a half-scale model of the actual ship, the bark LAGODA. The model was built in 1916 by shipwrights and riggers of the time when sailing whale vessels were still in use. The LAGODA is extremely valuable not only for the world's largest ship model, and an educational resource, but as a research tool in learning exactly how these ships were built and rigged. Therefore, it is essential to maintain it as authentically as possible, working from staging up to 3 stories high, each of the hundreds of riggings and parts, and approximately 3 miles of cordage will be cleaned, repaired, repainted, or coated or slushed. Worn or rotted rigging needs to be replaced. 15 sails are to be bent on with proper running rigging and seizings in place. Bulwarks and features on the weather deck and the hull need repainting and repair. Approximately 3,000 linear feet of badly worn sheathing on the weather deck has been replaced and refastened with authentic nails. Restoration, now just as in 1916, is being done by experienced shipwrights, sailors, and riggers. The largest ship model in the world was built in 1916 by New Bedford shipwrights, and the LAGODA is one of the museum's most important and popular educational tools. The LAGODA and the building that houses her were a gift of Emily Bourne, the oldest daughter of whaling merchant Jonathan Bourne and his wife Emily Summers. Miss Bourne financed the project in memory of her father and to help preserve the history of New Bedford's whaling industry and the people who contributed to its success. Jonathan Bourne was the agent for 24 whaling ships in the 19th century New Bedford. Those ships made many voyages, profiting over the decades to the tune of $7,986,103. The LAGODA, which Bourne purchased in 1841, was his favorite vessel, and he owned her until 1866. On one voyage of nearly 4 years, 46 months, she returned with a cargo valued at $220,755, and that is the equivalent to about $5.5 million today. The LAGODA model is 89 feet long, from flying jibbon to the end of the spanker. Her length from the figurehead to the stern is 59 feet. Her mainmast is 50 feet tall. She carries, when fully rigged, a suit of 15 sails. So to give you a little information on the New Bedford Whaling Museum, on what it is the New Bedford Whaling Museum ignites learning through exploration of art, history, science, and culture rooted in the stories of people, the region, and international seaport. Founded as part of Old Dartmouth Historical Society in 1903, the museum's rich history reveals an intimate relationship with the communities it serves, motivated by civic pride and a desire to preserve the artifacts and narratives of the region. The museum was established by a deeply engaged group of citizens to create and foster an interest in the history of the area. Today, the museum plays a critical role of a champion of a whale preservation and guardian of our heritage and culture. Through our partnership and our collection, the museum stands an institution for learning, from teaching about the reflecting on humans, collective impact on our community, and its environment. And like I said, I'll be doing some more artifacts and exhibits like the models and the artwork from the museum in later videos. I also want to do a video doing the history of the LAGODA, because she's really an amazing ship, and I'm going to be doing that video very shortly. But my friends, I just wanted to introduce you to the New Bedford Whaling Museum and the largest model ship in the world, the LAGODA. So until my next video, my friends, I thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.